诸位至身礼佛行三问讯一问讯。三声佛号：南无本师释迦牟尼佛。
南无本师释迦牟尼佛。
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 Please pay respect to the Venerable by making you bow.
Please be seated. Good evening, brothers and sisters. How are you all today? Good. So this Vesak Day's Eve. How many of you will be joining us for the Sampu Ibai? Okay. How many of you have tickets? Yeah. Some of you shared with me a special, I wouldn't call it a trick. But for those of you who didn't manage to get tickets, do not fret, do not be disappointed. You don't have to worry about not having tickets. Yeah. Don't just get crashed. Someone said just get crashed. You'll be thrown out. You can come at 5:30. But not in the afternoon, but the next morning. Yeah. If you come at about 4+5 in the morning, there's usually almost no food. Yeah. So express. You come in immediately, you can start Sampu Ibai already.
There will be queue already.
Huh? 5:30.
You just said the secret.
Yeah. Maybe there will be this. 100 over. Yeah. Okay, so Vesak Day is upon us again. Yeah, sometimes I'm just trying to get used to having Vesak Day celebration. Because in the monastery I was in, we don't really do much of a celebration. Yeah. Every day is the same. Vesak Day being on the full moon, we will have our precept recitation. Yeah. But other than that, there's no special this or that. Yeah, it's just another day. You have our class, you have our meditation, as per normal. Yeah. Well, but it's been 10 years since I came back. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to have the celebration. But celebrate with the right view. Celebrate with the right view. If you celebrate with the wrong view, well, then you may become disappointed one day. Because with the wrong view, you may have wrong expectation. Yeah. And if you have wrong expectations of the teachings or the practices, the reality of the practice doesn't conform with our views, doesn't care about what we think. So you may think this way or that way, but if the practice is not meant to produce that kind of result that we have due to our wrong view, we would quite naturally be disappointed. Okay, so what will not disappoint you is the teachings. But of course, if you come for class, you may also listen wrongly. So if you have any questions, do raise your hand if you have any areas that after listening to the explanation you still don't understand, you should clarify. So, the last week we finished 圣节. Yeah, 圣节. 与决定静，应时为性，不可引转为业. Yeah, so, yeah, with respect to the to certain aspects, yeah, certain circumstances, if you will, yeah, then you develop the supreme understanding. Yeah. When you have developed supreme understanding, like say for example, with respect to the impermanence of things, yeah, with respect to impermanence of things, you observe again and again and again and again, you reflect again and again. Up to some point, you have supreme understanding, and that is where your faith, yeah, your faith becomes strengthened, and it's not so easily demolished, not even shaken. Yeah, 也能令心. So, and the last part which we covered last week, if you reach the point where you thoroughly examine, and then through the thorough examination you have that certainty. Yeah? Then what happens? Even if others have a different opinion, even if someone come and tell you this or that, okay, it's okay. Yeah? No problem. So at that point you would have removed doubt. Yeah, you would have removed doubt. Of course, can we do that instantly? If you have done a lot of learnings and practices for a long time, yes. But initially, maybe not so easily. Yeah. Initially, we may still have doubts. A show of hands, how many of you have doubts about the teachings? Don't worry, it's not about me. It's okay to have doubts about the teachings, not my teachings. It doesn't belong to me. Yeah, how many of you have doubts about the teachings? So few of you. Oh, so the rest of you are all at least Sotapanna. Either that or you don't know enough teaching to have any doubts. Yeah. At a certain point, I realized that to be able to doubt, to question, you need to know enough teachings to question. Yeah. To be able to say, hey, this doesn't make sense. You know? Yeah, you need to have some level of understanding also. So don't worry if you have doubts. If you have doubts, good news. Huh? Yeah. It means that you have reached a certain level of understanding. But if you don't have doubts, you also don't have to be sad. Huh? That, oh no, I haven't had any doubts. Yeah. Let's try harder. Nian. So today we are going to cover Nian. So this word in the Chinese writing, what is today's date? 19th of May. Jing Xing, the present mind. Chinese character is very interesting. The present mind. If you look at another word, another character, Xiang, it is Xiang and the Xing, to have something in your mind, that's to Xiang. Chinese, because it's a pictographic writing. That's why I prefer the traditional script, because some of the simplified script oversimplify it, so you cannot find the shapes anymore. So Jing Xing Nian. Today we usually translate it as mindful or mindfulness? Mindfulness is an English word, so it is anyone's guess whether this is appropriate. But how do we understand the word mindfulness? Yeah, or the word mindful? If a person let's say lose the wallet, or cannot remember where they put the key, would you say that the person is mindful or not? Yeah, we would say that the person is not very mindful. Yeah, or maybe absent-minded. Yeah. Yeah. We may not even say that the person is unmindful. We may say that the person is absent-minded. Or let's say if the person, when he is walking around in the office, he always bumps into things. Yeah. Can we say that the person is being unmindful? Careless, clumsy. Yeah. So when do we say that a person is mindful or unmindful? Can you all think of examples? When do we say that a person is mindful? Just an English word, okay? This is an English word. It's not a Buddhist word. We merely borrow it. Yeah? To be aware of your thoughts or speech. Do we usually use it in that way? Yeah. Like if the person, just anyhow say things and say, be mindful of what you say, be careful, next meeting you better be careful. Big boss is coming. Yeah, be mindful of what you say. In this context, what does it mean? Without using the word mindful, what does it mean? When we say, be mindful of what you are saying, be mindful of what you are doing. To be aware in the now. Yeah. What else? Anything else? To think first. Okay, hold that thought. To think first. What else? Anything else? What else? How? Is this the English usage or Buddhist usage? Seems more like Buddhist. In English? In the English word, when we say be mindful, when do we use the word be mindful? Drive mindfully. Can it be used? Yeah. How many of you would use the word drive mindfully and safely? Drive carefully. Don't drink and drive. Yeah. Yes. Come again. Louder. Okay. So in normal day-to-day life, how many of you use the word mindful in your day-to-day life in the past 1 month? That you can recall clearly. Sifu, that day I was in the coffee shop and then the person came like, hey, be mindful. Yeah. Did any one of us use this word mindful? Or how about, I don't know, like you write email or something. When do we use this term? Almost nobody uses this term. But it's an English word, Can you all search your dictionary? Yeah. Can someone search your dictionary on your phone or just Google for the meaning? Yeah. Now, I'm trying to make a point here, okay? While some of you search, okay, and you can discuss, but I'm trying to make a point here. And the point here is that as much as these are English terms, once we borrow it, it becomes part of the Buddhist vernacular. And we sort of like, okay, it becomes like a Buddhist term, Another term which is also very commonly used by us, but actually is an English term, is enlightenment. Yeah, to become enlightened. Yeah. After attending a few Dhamma class, year 1 the Buddhism course, then when you see the word enlightened, immediately you just think Nirvana. But in fact, it is an English word. Yeah? Yeah, sometimes we would, this word is a bit more common, enlighten. We may say, can you enlighten me on this? Basically to let you know something, to become more clear about something, to have privy to something. Yeah, can you enlighten me on this? Yeah, let you know more in a way. Yeah, but once we borrow it, then it takes on a whole new dimension. Yeah, with all the religious implication, wisdom, love, enlightenment, you know. Yeah, become free of samsara. But the fact is, the English word itself doesn't have any of this connotation. Yeah, but in the Buddhist context, we do have this connotation. So the question now is, how about the term mindfulness? Thoughtful. Thoughtful for? You are very thoughtful. Okay, thoughtful, mindful. Yeah. Yes? Okay, dictionary meaning. Okay. Okay. This is a noun, mindfulness. Can someone search for the word mindful? Mindfulness and mindful. Wait, hang on, let me read this. The state or quality of being mindful or aware of something. It doesn't quite help. Okay, aware of something. To be mindful is to be aware of something. This is an English meaning. Nothing to do with Buddhism, okay? Psychology. A technique in which one focuses one's full attention only on the present, experiencing thoughts, feelings and sensations, but not judging them. The practice of mindfulness can reduce stress and physical pain. B, the mental state maintained by the use of this technique. Yeah. So this whole chunk in psychology is borrowed from us. Yeah. Psychology, the field of psychology started using mindfulness, I think, if I don't recall wrongly, like 20 over years ago. Yeah. Today we know it as MBSR, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program. This is a dictionary, it doesn't give you the full background and history development. But if you search online on Google, you'll find, you'll find most of the sites, yeah, MBSR sites, okay, they will give some history and they'll talk about how this technique of MBSR evolved and is derived from the Buddhist practice of mindfulness. Yeah. So this word mindfulness, when you use it, be careful of the connotation and what it actually implies. Yeah, we will see in today's text quite a different implication. Yes, what do you have? How come nobody searched for word mindful? Who found it? Mindful, bearing in mind, attentive to, yeah? Ever mindful of her health, mindful of his responsibilities, mindful of these criticisms, I shall attempt to justify my action. Yeah? To be mindful, to be aware, to bring attention to. And this is the meaning. Yeah? So, thank you. The word nian, in the Buddhist tradition, there's the Theravada tradition, there's Mahayana tradition. Yeah? And Mahayana is not Chinese Buddhism, okay? Chinese Buddhism is part of Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism is a huge umbrella, okay, a huge umbrella, under which Chinese Buddhism is part of. Then there is Tibetan Buddhism, there is Korean, Japanese, including even Vietnamese. Yeah? Thinahan's tradition, Master Thinahan's tradition is under Mahayana as well. Okay? So in almost all these traditions, we find the practice of mindfulness present. Why? Well, because it's part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah? It is also part of the 5 powers. Xing, Jing, Nian, Ding, Hui. Nian, the center one. Yeah? Wu Gen and Wu Li, both the powers, yeah, the roots and the powers. It's part and parcel of the Buddhist practice, mindfulness. Yeah? But if we look at the text today, you'll find that it may be familiar or it may appear quite different for what we come to know. Because typically when we talk about mindfulness, or we just talk about, just be present with the moment, just be aware. Yeah, and as some of the definition goes, to observe non-judgmentally. Yeah, so let's take a look. 与诚习静，令性铭记不忘为性，定义为业. Yeah, so the first thing, with respect to those objects, yeah, that you have come in contact with before. Yeah, when we say before, it doesn't mean like 3 years later. Yeah, it can be 3 years later, but it can be a moment before as well. Okay, keep this in mind. 令性铭记不忘为性. The nature. What is the nature of this mental quality called mindfulness? Yeah, the nature of it is to let the mind recollect, yeah, or focus, yeah, and recall, remember what you have come in contact with. Now, as you listen to this, then you may think, hey, this seems to be like, just about thinking about the past, huh? No, it's not. Okay? Here is, it is where you bring your mind to something again and again and again and again. And once you have come into contact, to let it stay there, yeah, and bring it to mind again and again, yeah. Basically, fill your mind with that thing. Now, today mindfulness is taught as the end-all be-all. You just do mindfulness, scouting. Yeah. Mindfulness is part of the Eightfold Path. Number 7 of the Eightfold Path. It is the basis for concentration to arise. Yeah? And that is why you see here, 定义为业. Yeah? What does it mean? It means that the function of mindfulness is what? What is its purpose? Its purpose is to serve as a condition for concentration to arise. If you attend most of the mindfulness classes, I think most don't talk about concentration. Yeah, most don't talk about that. Some would talk about, those that is a bit more Buddhistic would talk about insight. Yeah, insight meditation. Yeah. But concentration is something that is very crucial. Yeah. Today we're going to cover this too, and if we have enough time, we'll cover wisdom as well. So, mindfulness, to bring the mind to something again and again, or to bring something to the mind rather. Yeah, that means to focus the mind, to keep the mind on something. Yeah, this process, yeah, of putting the mind on something. Now, when you listen to this, this seems to be concentration, This seems to be concentration. Yeah. This doesn't sound like anything like what we typically learn about mindfulness. Yeah. Just be aware. But if you go to the sutras itself, all this is actually based on the sutras. Although this is a sub-commentary, but this is based on those sutras. Yeah. If you go and look at the sutras, that's basically what is described. Yeah. So, let's take a look. 内心时时奢侈曾经领受过的镜像. Yeah, so time and again and again, repeatedly, 时时. Yeah. So within your mind, 时时 means again and again, yeah, repeatedly and constantly. Yeah. constantly, repeatedly. 奢侈, this word 奢, I must do something interesting today. There are some students who gave me some feedback. The student told me that she noticed that some students, when I'm giving a very long explanation, like what I usually do, then you all will just listen and don't write down any notes. Then the moment I write down something, mindfulness, then you all copy down mindfulness. But what I say, you may not realize that you have to copy that down. I must highlight. When I'm explaining certain phrases or sentences, I'm not suggesting that you must copy down every single word. That is dictation. You don't have. This is not a dictation class. But when you take notes, you should listen and then write down what you have grasped or understood from what I have explained. Not just what I wrote down. Usually, what I usually write down, either very simple terms that I just want to get out of the way, or very complicated terms. But there are a lot of terms that is in between, or sentences in between, that are equally crucial, which I will just sort of explain out loud. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this 奢侈, we typically translate 奢 as to encompass. And then 持 is to sustain or maintain. So what does this mean here? It means that whatever you have experienced, to totally encompass it, to totally observe and examine it, to totally know what. Oh, let me bring this up. So this 奢侈. So for example, now look at the screen. Okay, I want you to, when I flash something into the screen, I want you to just take a look and close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes. Once you see it, close your eyes. Did you see what you saw? What did you see? What color was it? Black. How many of you saw a black pen? How many of you saw a red pen? How many of red pen? How many of you saw a green pen? Cannot be green now, you don't see any green here. How about blue pen? So it was actually, well, not fair because the writing is not so good. Hard to tell what color was it. But now, examine it. You can see the whole pen here. Can you all see and examine what is this pen? Blue color. Pilot. EL something. Examine closely. What is this? Pilot G2.7. Wow. If you examine it this way, this is to 奢, and then you bring it, you just maintain it in your mind is to 持. And if you keep doing this becomes the basis for concentration to arise. Just now when you just like that, then I take it away, and that is not 奢侈. So now you compare. When you are meditating and you are observing your breath, which way is it? Is it like this? Really examining every aspect of the breath? Or is it just breathe in, breathe out? Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You notice the difference? And you compare with the way we observe the breath usually. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference, isn't it? To really put aside everything and just really in a way almost like fall in love with your breath, treat it like when you are with your best friend that you have not met for 10 years. Okay, maybe 10 years too long. You know, if it's 10 years, it will come already. Okay, maybe for, you know, a few months, your friend went overseas, and before that you have been meeting very regularly, you know, so you meet your friend, yeah. For those of you who don't have any friends, I can't help you with that. So don't tell me, no, Sugo, I don't have any friends, okay. Yeah, don't worry, you can make friends here, okay. Dharma friends is okay. It's quite good. So when you meet your friend, long-time friend, and not met for a while, when your friend is talking to you, what do? You pay 100% attention. When you meet with your friend, do you do this? Yeah, food is here. Take picture quickly. Yes, So, okay, yeah, Do we do that? So when we attend to the breath, we must attend to the breath like it's our super abang, you know? Yeah, super kaki, good friend, yeah, and really put aside everything, yeah. Any thoughts that come to mind is like the next table, chit-chatting, don't care about the next table, yeah. There's a kid in the other table making a lot of noise, don't care, yeah. That is like your thoughts about the past, about the future, all kinds of thoughts, don't care. Totally absorbed with the breath, yeah, search. And if you do this repeatedly, of course, then this becomes the basis for concentration to arise. Yes? But search is, you have to, and that's why most people don't get concentration, because we never go and observe the breath totally. Yeah. If you go and learn the traditional Buddhist meditation method, it involves a lot of effort to really observe the whole detail about whatever you're observing. Be it the breath, be it the four kasinas, be it the four immeasurables, all requires that examination. So you are right. It is a form of that kind of examination. Yeah. So if you don't do that, how can you search? If you don't do that, then you are just having a big idea about what you observe. Then it's not search. Yes. Does the mind get tired? We do get tired imagining how it's going to be like. But when you do it, you don't get tired. Yeah. Usually we are tired just thinking about how tired it's going to be. But when you are really doing it, it's very calming. Yeah. And you can almost feel like your whole body just, not like that, but you can really feel your whole body, you realize that you were so tense to begin with. You can really relax and really just be at ease with the breath. Like, yeah, it's okay. I only have the breath right now. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no title, it's okay. No role to play, it's okay. I'm not mother, father, I'm not whatever position I have in the company, no problem. Just this breath. Yeah, that's fine. When you really absorb into the breath, it is like that. Then all the thoughts about all those saplang will not disturb you. Have similar traits. Have similar traits. Yeah, similar traits. So this is a very interesting thing. See, our sister asked a very good question. Immediately asked, is this being attached to the breath? Why worry about attachment at this point in time? We should be worried about our attachment to worldly things first. Yeah. You understand that? She's the only one who asked, but I'm sure a lot of you all have this question. Yeah?
Mindful is to be aware of whatever is going on, the changes and even the present conditions. And if you observe whatever that's changing moment to moment,
Yes.
that is mindfulness. Because focus is the focus is on the point.
I would
That is concentration, I think.
I would hesitate to draw too much distinction because these are just words, and both are English words. Yeah. Depending on how you go and interpret the English word, it can mean slightly different things. Yeah, but as I said, the important thing is to understand what you are supposed to do with mindfulness. Yeah, to be mindful of something. But you will be correct to say that to be mindful is not simply to be affixed to it, yeah, but to maintain that awareness on something and then just and not simply just stuck there, but it's a very active process of observing the whole everything about it. Yeah, 实时, yes. But the point I was mentioning about that all of you may have this thought is not about this part. It's about the question about how is this a form of attachment? Yeah, this is the thing I'm trying to drive at just now. Yeah, don't worry about attachment to the practice to begin with. Okay, yeah, yes, I know non-attachment, but the thing you should be focusing on non-attachment to focus your non-attachment is on worldly things. Okay, yeah, on worldly things. The things that cause you to have sleepless nights, that is something for you to remove attachment. Mindfulness on, and she will be, to be fair, to answer her question, when you first start to meditate, you do need to become attached to your object of meditation. If you are not attached to it, you cannot meditate, really, in fact. Yeah. But that is also why, from the first jhana to the second jhana, then you need to reflect on the faults and danger of the first jhana to remove that attachment. Then to reflect on the benefits, how amazing the second jhana is. Wow, until you are like in love with the second jhana. Yeah, then yeah, is it attachment? Yeah, it's a form of attachment, you know. Yeah, but this allows you to move forward until the mind is purified of all the worldly attachment. So don't worry about the attachment in this case towards the Dharma practices. Okay? Yeah. It is, I like what many masters have mentioned. The Buddha himself mentioned about how the Dharma, even the Dharma has to be relinquished. Yeah? 法上应舍何况非法 in the Dharma Sutra. And not just Dharma Sutra, simile of the raft inside Majjhima Nikaya, you can go and search. Yeah? There is this sutra, the Buddha talked about the raft crossing the river. Yes? You have to let go of the raft. Yeah? So the practice is part of the raft. Yeah? But what did the Buddha say about letting go of the raft? After you reach that side. Before you reach that side, you must go and build the raft. Now you are building the raft. Then build halfway, collect the materials, non-attachment, throw it aside. Then you will never build the raft. Then after building the raft, before you set off, non-attachment, better put aside the raft. Then you will never cross over. Yeah. You should put aside the raft. You are right. Yeah? And you ultimately, everyone will let go of the raft. But it's only when you have crossed over. Yeah? And the things to let go is our defilements. The things to let go is our worldly, transient things. Okay? One here. Yes. if depending on how much joy arises, yeah, if you only experience the joy maybe like less than 5 times so far, yeah, if you have been meditating for a few years, still okay for the most part. Every time you meditate, okay, in fact, even if you meditate for the first time and you have joy, or every time you meditate you have joy, there are 2 approaches. One is just come back to the breath. Yeah. Strictly speaking, you don't really have to let go of the joy. Strictly speaking. What do we mean by that? It is like if you are walking along, let's say, walking for the class, and then there are some parts with shelter, some parts without shelter. Okay, and maybe you came very early, so there's still that sun, yeah. And because of the shelter, sometimes you get shade, sometimes you don't get shade, yeah. Even you get shade, you may feel cool and maybe some comfort. Yeah, but as long as you focus on continue walking, there's no problem. Yeah. But if you end up putting in too much effort to avoid, comfort, better go walk into the sun, then you end up somewhere. You know what I mean? What you should do is just focus on moving forward. Don't have to worry. The fact that you are still concerned whether the joy is there or not, you are attached to the joy. Okay? Don't worry, the joy will take care of itself. It will come when there are conditions, there are no conditions, it will go. Yeah? Don't be fixated on the joy. When the master says let go of the joy, it doesn't mean you actively go and must let go of the joy. Leave it alone. Okay? Yes.
So how is mindfulness different from attention?
Mindfulness and attention. Attention can be seen to be a one-off thing. Yeah? Mindfulness is a repeated, sustained form. That's the closest I would want to describe it. Any other questions? If not, we continue with the text and see what happens, okay? So to totally encompass and sustain what you have experienced in your mind, and then what happened? 令心铭记无忘失. So causing the mind, to be able to recollect and keep it in mind and not forget about it. Now forget, there's 2 meanings. One is that you forget about it. That means what we typically say, I forgot what I was doing. Or I forgot where I put the key. Another meaning of 忘失 is that you're supposed to pay attention to the breath, but now you forget about the breath. You go and pay attention to something else. Your thoughts, for example. Or some sound outside, for example. Or whether there's aircon or not, for example. This means you have 忘失, you have forgotten about your breath. Now, with this practice, you cause your mind not to forget about whatever you have experienced as far as the object of meditation is concerned. Now, one thing to take note, when we talk about this mindfulness, it's not always in the context of us sitting down there meditating. Okay? It is to be practiced 24/7. Of course, can you do it 24/7? You cannot. Most people today, in today's society, cannot do that. The point is, not just when you are sitting there, but in your day-to-day life, to always bring the attention of the mind towards something repeatedly, such that it becomes what we call mindfulness. And then pay attention to it. And then thoroughly examine it, focus on it, encompass your mind with it. Now, with respect to this, then there are two schools of thoughts. The current prevalent or popular approach to mindfulness is whatever object comes, you pay attention to it. Whatever you encounter, you be mindful of it. That's one approach. Another approach, which seemed to be more prevalent last time, is you choose one object, the breath, for example, yeah, or you may choose the four elements, and just one of the four elements, yeah, earth element, hardness. Then you just keep on focusing on hardness whatever you come in contact with. Yeah, if you focus on the breath, then throughout the whole day, almost whatever you are doing, you just keep on observing the breath. Yeah, so in the past, the approach that I was often taught is the second type, where you just stick to one object. The whole day, all day long, just keep on focusing on one object and develop that mindfulness. Okay? Second, or rather the first approach we have mentioned, which is more prevalent now, is whatever object comes, you have mindfulness of it. Yeah. That means now, if you are talking to someone, then you don't focus on your breath. Yeah. If now you walk away to the toilet, in the toilet you are reaching out, you're totally absorbed in reaching out. Yeah. This is another way of mindfulness, and this is the prevalent way that we find. Okay. The way that used to be more prevalent can be seen to be a strong basis for samatha, which fits in with this description as a basis for concentration. Okay. Yeah. So both approach has its own merits. Yeah. Both approach have its own merits. If you were to just focus on one thing, how many of you have tried it before? Maybe a show of hands. That means you choose one object, and throughout the whole day, for a few days, or maybe even a month, you are always, that doesn't mean that it's 24/7. That is your object. And day in, day out, when you are waiting for a bus, waiting for a train, waiting for a traffic light, you will just observe the breath. Yeah? So how many of you have tried it before? So when you try it this way, what is the outcome?
You have next one thought, you are able to bring your focus back, and you don't have crazy thought.
All over the place, huh?
Bring yourself back to this one. That is a feeling after that, you need to be also
How about you? Okay. How about you? Peace and peaceful. I invite you all to try it out. Yeah. As I said, both has its own advantages, pros and cons. If you stick to one object, you become very familiar with it. Yeah. And as our sisters mentioned, you have a certain grounding. Yeah. It's easier to bring back that focus or that mindfulness quite quickly. Yeah. So you can try that. Okay. On the other hand, the other approach, which is whatever you are doing, then you just be mindful of that. And that has its own advantage also. There are those who start to do some intensive practices, and you may find, as I sometimes joke about it, that those who take the approach of a singular object, sometimes if you don't have enough reflection on wisdom or compassion, you may find yourself to become a bit short-fused. Strange as it may seem, you may find yourself a bit short-fused. Why? Because after a while, you fall in love with this object, other things, stop disturbing me now. It's not that you consciously want to do it, but it's just comparatively, this is so blissful. all other things fade away, So if you find that you do this for a few weeks, a few months, or even up to half a year or a year, you find that, hey, you start to have this symptom, you may want to regulate, okay, and do more reflection on wisdom, okay, and compassion. Otherwise, they say, they have this saying, 禅师一个比一个怪. The Zen master, each one is even weirder than the next. Yeah. Why? Because depending, okay, I mean this is almost like an insider joke. Yeah. Whereas if you were to practice the mindfulness, that is dynamic. Okay. And then this symptom don't develop so acutely. Why? Because whatever comes, you are used to just observing. Yeah, just observing. Okay, now I hear a voice. Yeah, but the downside is for some initially when they do this, then they come and ask me, Sư-Phụ, when I just maintain mindfulness on everything in general, some of them have the fear, oh, will it be very tiring? But if you really do it, you will not be tired. Then you may come and tell Sư-Phụ, Sư-Phụ, I realize that when I really try and do it, I cannot have a proper conversation with people. Yeah, because you are totally in that zone, in that mode. So even when they talk to you, just sound. Yeah. But don't worry, that's just an initial phase also. Yeah, just an initial phase. Yeah. So these are the different approaches to this. Okay. So hang on, you have used up your token. Let me complete this part first. 令心铭记不忘失，这是念的本性。So this is the way mindfulness is. Yeah. So if you practice mindfulness and it doesn't do all this, okay, then you must check your method. Something is not quite right. Yeah. So when you go for meditation, regardless of whatever they call that technique, it must involve this part first, then leading to concentration. Okay, but later when we look at concentration, there's another word inside that you'll find it not quite what we think of as concentration thing. Yeah. So if you meditate and then you can use what we have covered today as a barometer, yeah, as a checklist. Like, okay, am I totally absorbed? Am I really observing the breath, completely? Yeah. Is my mind still drawn over this and that, whatever? So align your mind. Yeah. Totally observe and encompass by your good friend. Sayang your breath, sayang, okay, observe. Okay. If you can do that, you 念力能引生镇定，这就是念的业用。业用 means like function. 这是约善念说的。So the last line, you 念力, through the power of mindfulness, through the strength of mindfulness. What happened? 能引生镇定. You can give rise, you can induce right concentration. Yeah? This is the function of mindfulness. So in fact, when I went to learn under different schools and different masters, then I realized that, honestly speaking, it doesn't matter what label they use. Yeah, they all fall under these few steps. Yeah. Cannot run away. Unless it's not a Buddhist meditation, then it can be totally different. But as long as it's taught by a Buddhist master, can be a lay person, can be a venerable, it must fall into these few steps. First, there must be an object or a dynamic one or a fixed one, and then to be aware of it, to totally encompass it. And then if the mind run away, to know and then to bring it back again and again, to maintain, to bring to mind that object repeatedly, constantly. If you can do that, then 镇定. So next, 定. I'm going to just write concentration first because the word 定 itself means concentration. 于所观境，令心专注，不散为性，至一为业。Yeah, so, with respect to the object or the whatever you're observing, to cause the mind to be totally affixed. Yeah. So this is a different degree already. Yeah. Compared to the previous one, this is to be totally affixed. Yeah. 专注不散. Yeah. 专注不散. This word 散 means to become distracted. So first mindfulness, then concentration. This is a two-step process. So the nature of concentration is that it causes the mind to become absolutely affixed, focus on it, yeah, if you will, the word focus, and then to not run away. 不散. Yeah. The word 散 itself, it means disperse, to disperse. This word is very interesting, to disperse, yeah, versus to be focused or concentrated. What does it mean to be dispersed? It means or scattered, yeah, scattered or dispersed. It means that your mind is all over the place. Here it says it can cause the mind to focus and not be all over the place. Yeah? When your mind is not all over the place, then what happens? 智意为业. That wisdom, concentration is the basis, is the condition for wisdom to arise. Yeah. That wisdom depends on to arise. Yeah. So, 智一为业, the function of concentration. It serves as the dependent for wisdom. This is why we have the threefold practice, 戒定慧. Yeah. 戒定慧. Yeah. So with wisdom, or rather with concentration, then wisdom can arise. Yeah. So let's take a closer look. Arjun can go toilet. Okay, like, wait, did you have any burning thoughts about the last one that you want to ask? Okay. See? Prioritize. Okay, yes. 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 Yeah. So what is your question?
My question is, concentration, first define what is right concentration, and this mere concentration alone does not mean.
Yeah, agree.
So what is right?
Yeah, there's a whole paragraph here. You must give me a time to explain. But she's right. Concentration is not always right concentration, and that's why in the Eightfold Path, yeah, the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha highlighted what is Samma Samadhi, yeah, the right kind of concentration. They never really, who never really most likely. Yeah. Yeah. You don't know. Okay. So maybe this is a time to strengthen. There are many things that we can be mindful of. Yeah. The Buddha highlighted 4 areas to be mindful of. this should be a revision because most of you should have learned this already. And those of you who have attended my class would have seen this so much that you're like, oh, Sifu is like a broken radio. Zhen Shou Xing Fa. So, the body, feelings / sensation, the mind, and the Dharma. Mental object. Yeah, so these are four areas, 4 aspects. But it's not simply that, oh, if you focus on these 4 or you are mindful of these 4, then it is right mindfulness. Right mindfulness must be grounded in right view, guided by right intention. Yeah. Then it qualifies as right mindfulness. In fact, all the from number 3 onwards, all it must arise due to right view and right intention. Otherwise, it doesn't qualify as right. If you develop mindfulness and you are mindful of the stock exchange, yeah, and then sometimes you are mindful of this so that you can be less stressed and you can be more mindful of the stock exchange and you can buy, sell. You can also lead to concentration, yeah? But that concentration is driven by greed, hatred and delusion. It's not driven by right view and right intention. A very prime example, in the recent mindfulness seminar, I shared some slides about what is wrong mindfulness. Yeah, what is right and what is wrong mindfulness. A sniper, Navy SEAL sniper, no less. You know Navy SEAL? Those super duper license to kill specialists. Yeah, they are like the elite soldiers among the elite soldiers. Yeah. Now then, among this elite, this guy who is a sniper within the Navy SEAL. Wow, can you imagine how elite he is as far as being a soldier is? So he actually practices mindfulness. and there's this video clip on YouTube about how he uses mindfulness to help him stay calm, stay hidden, and then take the shot. Yeah. So mindfulness is a very powerful tool. Yeah. But it doesn't, by itself, it doesn't say what you're supposed to do. That's why there's the right view right at the start under Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and then right concentration. It comes as a complete package. Several years ago, or quite a few years ago, I was tasked to share on MBSR with the Singapore Buddhist Free Clinic staff and volunteers. So this was one of the things I highlighted to them. That typically when we learn about MBSR, it is just MBSR by itself. So I highlighted that as a Buddhist, we have to bring in MBSR within the framework of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. Otherwise, you can use your mindfulness very effectively, yeah, to be calm and handle your stress, which is not a bad thing, yeah, but it doesn't change your mindset. Yeah, your direction in life may still not change, you know. Yeah. For many people, once they practice mindfulness, there are a lot of peripheral, how do I call it? A lot of peripheral material, yeah, that is linked to mindfulness, which would slowly draw them towards right view. Yeah. Perhaps this is the intention of some of the teachers, not to, well, one day one, wow, no way, full pump. Then people run away. Yeah. So I believe there are some people who come in just to deal with their stress. But gradually, they become hungry for more. They find that, hey, this is very powerful, like they want to see the whole picture. Yeah? But unfortunately, there are some who think that this is the end. So as practicing Buddhist, you should be aware of this. Okay? So, right, whether it's right mindfulness or right concentration, it must be guided by right view and right intention. But you cannot ask me, hey, but I don't know what is right view. That one, year 1, year 2. Maybe towards the end of this commentary, maybe next year we can have a refresher. Some people, when we talk about the Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path, people may think, hey, I already finished 3-year course. No, I finished basic Buddhism already. Why you still ask me to attend this? Or some people may think, hey, I even go to some other place and get a diploma, Why do you want me to study the Four Noble Truths again? This is what I tell people when they have this mindset. In the Buddha's time, when the Buddha gave teachings, as long as the Buddha is in town and he is giving teaching, all the disciples will go and attend. Yeah? In fact, the Buddha don't come out and poster, tweet, and then go on Facebook, and I'm going to give teachings, please come on. Yeah, the fact that the Buddha is in town, they will just go and see him. Even if the Buddha is just sitting there meditating, they are just glad to see, this is our teacher, this is the awakened one. Yeah, it is because of him, his hard work, that we have realized this truth. And so sometimes they don't know what he's going to teach, And if you look at the whole Pali Canon, they are 5 aggregates, 4 Noble Truths, 8 Path. Yeah, people for the same topic, 100 people come, the Buddha give the same answer. So if you read the Pali Canon, many of the sutras are abridged. They will say, thus have I heard. Or sometimes they even skip that and they will say, there was a time, so and so, Subrada, the wanderer, came to ask the Buddha, what is form? And the Buddha said, form is physicality, then ... then bracket, as per Sutta number 235. Then they just, after that, and Subrada was pleased, and then he left. Yeah. So what does that mean? The Buddha is very consistent. For many people nowadays, when we listen to a speaker, hey, Sifu, how Sutra from 2006 until now still the same? Anything new or not? I look at him like, what do you want me to do? Emptiness is emptiness. I cannot change it. I hope that I only increase the number of examples, that I haven't changed it. We shouldn't change it, because the truth is the truth. If one day I teach emptiness and I change it, you all better come and bow down and then say, Sifu, you are wrong. Okay? So, Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path. Yeah? In those days, when the Buddha gave teaching on this, you don't see that the Arahants, the Buddha explained what is Four Noble Truths and halfway through, 500 Arahants decided it's too boring and they left. No, they rejoice in it because they truly appreciate the Four Noble Truths. Yeah. So if you find that, not to like criticize or tease, but it's understandable that sometimes when you see some Dharma talk, who is this Venerable? Talk about Four Noble Truths. So boring. I know already. Don't want to attend. If you have this thought, it is understandable. Why? Because I also have this thought. Honestly, before I ordained, I also have this thought. This one, not so interesting. This one shame. I never heard of. But if you have this kind of thinking, don't have to beat yourself also, but you should reflect. How much do I really know the Four Noble Truths? First of all, by the words, letter, the letter of it. That means, don't care about the meaning first. If I now ask you to repeat any particular sutra on the Four Noble Truths, can you remember? Most of us cannot. Some of you maybe can. Yeah? Let's say you don't set the bar so high. Sifu want you to memorize a sutra. Let's say just a complete set of texts, Four Noble Truths. The Noble Truth of suffering. Yeah? The 3 kinds of suffering, the 8 kinds of suffering, the various kinds of suffering, in the full detail. Can you remember? If you cannot, then you should go and attempt. Yeah? And not just that. Then how about the cause of suffering, the Noble Truth of the cause of suffering, and how this cause truly lead to suffering arising. And if you can, 倒数流流, you can memorize, you can, Sifu, you want the reverse order? If you can do that, very good. I clap for you, okay? But then you must ask yourself, have I truly penetrated into the meaning? And maybe you have penetrated into the meaning, and you can explain to friends, and you can hold up your ground, even when people question you. Then you should ask yourself, am I observing suffering in my life? When whatever I experience, the Buddha said, the 3 kinds of feelings are all suffering. Do I observe it as it is already? If I have, then like this supreme understanding, then you are indeed having it as a 决定. Yeah? 苦即是苦. Last time I read some sutras and it says, he sees suffering is indeed suffering. Then at that point I just, he saw suffering, what else? No? And now, then later I have a different understanding that, it is not just an intellectual thing, that he observed in the day-to-day life. Various aspects, he see how painful experiences is suffering. This one, you don't need to come Dharma classes. As a small kid, you know. Yeah? But pleasant experiences, do you see that it's suffering? Most of us don't see it. If you still don't see it, you should attend the talk. Not just by Sifu, any Venerable give a talk, then you should stand up and ask, Sifu, can you please, out of compassion for all who are present, explain how is it that pleasant experiences is suffering? And then you should listen carefully, lend ear, pay attention, and then remember as much as you can. Yeah, nowadays very convenient. Don't have to pay attention, just record. But if you record, go back, listen to it once, twice, 3 times, 10 times, 1,000 times. And if you don't understand, go for the next talk again and ask again, Sifu, can you please explain again? Yeah? At this point in time, my understanding is this. But there's some parts that I don't understand. Four Noble Truths, so now think back. In the first, when was this covered for Four Noble Truths? Year 1. Eightfold Path, part together, right? Back to back usually. Yeah. Now think back when you attended in year 1. I don't know what's going on. Don't worry, very normal. They are very normal. When Sifu first learned about Four Noble Truths Path, that was in the 80s. Yeah, part of the RK, religious knowledge in school. Yeah, quite fresh in those days, but just know the words, no? Yeah, but don't really know what's going on also. Yeah, and in fact, in the recent years, then I realized that the RK text is really very comprehensive. Yeah, it even covers the description of the whole Tripitaka, yeah, including the Nikayas. Because there was one, and I discovered this before I became a monk. I was part of this youth committee, and then we were coming out with some training program, whatever, very full of ego and pride, let's do it. Then during the meeting I asked, we should have an overview, try to bring my, the corporate approach. We should have an overview. Then what? Then they look at me and say, there is what? Really? They pass me the architect, and then they say, behind? Really? because I studied that, but somehow I totally miss it. Besides being very embarrassed that day, I was very humbled. I realized, wow, as much as I thought that in secondary school, well, I studied so much, and after that I read so much books. Most people around me cannot defeat me even back then on Dharma discussion. I just close my eyes, close one ear, I also can think. But that day was a very humbling experience for me because I realized, wow, actually I was sleeping in class maybe. So it's okay. If in year one, after having gone through the year one class, you find that, like you have gone through it, but then as you listen to other talks, then you find that, things are a bit hazy. Don't worry, it's okay. But then this becomes the impetus for us to revisit it again. Next year, if the timing don't clash, you can sign up for year one again. Don't feel that, very shameful, I repeat student. What is there to be ashamed of? No, there's nothing shameful. Our teachers, the Venerables from Batam, they are so devoted and dedicated. They prepare a lot of PowerPoint slides and everything. You come here and listen. Very interesting, isn't it? So attend again. So come again. Go and sign up. Because year 1, year 2, and year 3 all on different days, right? So you can sign up again. Revisit and then listen. And then you'll find it very interestingly, whatever you have learned before, you learn a second time, you have a different appreciation. Then after that you come and attend year 3 again, a different appreciation. And then you realize that every single teacher that you have encountered contributed to your understanding. If you find that, come here, year 3, Sutra can explain well or what? No, I don't believe that. I can explain well, but but whether you can understand well, that's a different thing, I think I can explain well. I like to explain, but whether well or not, whether you can understand well, that depends on you and all the teachers, not just Sifu, not just the last bao that you eat, you go and search on my blog, I wrote an article, the 7 buns, the story of the 7 buns. You go and search. Okay. Cannot finish this. 寄予所观的功德过失，寄俱非的镜向上，由定令心专注，无闪不闪。依这定力，便有觉者自身。所以说，自依为业。这是曰静分定说的。Okay, so a very long sentence. Let me explain. 寄予所观的功德过失，即俱非的镜向上。So, just now I mentioned, when you are trying to attain some form of concentration, some of our sisters mentioned, isn't this like a form of attachment? And then I mentioned that, you have to really fall in love with it. But to fall in love with it, what must you do? You must go and observe the merits of it. 寄予所观的功德, with respect to the stage that you are going for, you must go and observe, what is its merits, the benefits of it. And then, how about the 过失? Once you have surpassed it, then you must observe what is its shortcoming. And then, 即俱非的镜向上. So, then there are some aspects where, you can just be neutral with it. So, with respect to when we are doing this practice of concentration, it's not so just plain sailing or simple, just sit there and just do nothing. There's a lot of things to do, So, what do we mean by observe and go and reflect on its merits? For example, when you are trying to first start off doing meditation, we teach you about the 5 hindrances. Can you remember? Yeah? 贪欲盖、嗔恚盖、误作调语举盖、昏沉睡眠盖、疑 the 5 hindrances. Yeah? Greed and desire, you have hatred and ill will, you have sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and then doubt. Yeah? These 5. So, with respect to the first one, greed and desire, we usually talk about the 5 chords of sensual pleasure. What are the 5 chords? With respect to the 5 senses, eye, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. Yeah. So with respect to these 5, we are supposed to reflect on its shortcoming. If you don't do that, hard to have any progress in your meditation. But it's not simply, just go and spend some time to reflect on it. Just think about it. But to really internalize this and to really see that if I were to spend my time on being preoccupied with what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, what I touch, if I'm preoccupied with these 5 aspects of my life, yeah, in other words, sensuality, yeah, in other words, the physical domain, then when I try to concentrate, when I try to be mindful, my mind is mindful of other things. My mind will be drawn, because if you cannot spend your whole day being preoccupied with the eye, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind with respect to form, smell, taste, touch, and then suddenly, you want to sit down and meditate. Well, when I say that you cannot, it doesn't mean you cannot. It means that your effort will bring limited results. Of course you can be busy the whole day, and many people do this. Many people busy themselves with the whole day, then try to meditate either in the morning or in the evening. It's a good attempt. But you may find that it has limited impact. And the reason is because we do not truly go and see its shortcoming. Then with respect to merits, to really go and consider, what is so good about observing the breath, for example? What is so superior about first jhana, or even access concentration? After all, when you talk about first jhana, there's no promise of reading lucky draw or 4D, no promise about all the riches in the world. So what's so great about it? So to really go and consider this, either to attend Dharma talks on this, or to go and read. There are so many books on this. But the best way is to go and try to meditate and then experience the bliss and joy. And once you have some taste of that bliss and joy, you don't need someone else to say, hey, Sifu, can you please text me every day to remind me to meditate? You don't need. You don't need to install some app to say, okay, time to meditate. You automatically find yourself distancing from worldly matters. And when you have time, you just want to just sit there, even if not on a cushion, set up a stage, set up cushion. Can you do that or not? Cannot. Imagine you take a train, then you bring a cushion, then you go there, then excuse me, then sit down there. You can't do that, you see. But what will you do instead? Whatever you are doing, standing there, you just observe. If you are doing the dynamic approach, then you observe. That's the most prominent stimulus, right? Then you will just listen. There's sound. And this sound is impermanent also. And just focus. And when there's no more sound, shh. Sounds quite like it, Then after that, okay, no more, not so strong, then you consider, wow, the smell, wow, bau. Yeah, sometimes it's not bad smell, sometimes it's some either men or ladies, wow, the perfume, wow, once they come in, the whole cabin is filled with that smell. Wow, then you feel, okay, the handlebar, cold, hard, smooth. Then you can press down on your feet, and then you observe the whole body. In this way, you develop that mindfulness. Doesn't mean that you have to bring a cushion around everywhere you go. Yeah? But if you spend more time doing this, after a while, the moment you sit down, you didn't do anything special, but you find that your mind becomes settled very quickly. It is the past effort throughout the day that you put in. Then once you have a taste of that quietude, of that serenity, that tranquility, you may not even have attained jhana. Then you can appreciate there's merit in it, or there's benefit to it. Then, okay, good. Okay. So there are certain aspects of the object that may not have distinct feature like this. Nothing so pleasant, nothing so problematic also. So with respect to this, okay, just watch it go past. Have equanimity if you will. Then through this practice, repeatedly you do this, then your mind slowly become more and more, together with mindfulness, more and more focused. You think, 令心专注不散. Then the mind slowly, one day you meditate, the mind just becomes settled, and your whole entire universe becomes just a breath. Wow. Some of you may experience some moment and you're not aware that it is something special. Until suddenly you hear, it's like someone turn on the volume. Then suddenly you hear the background noise coming. Usually the background noise start to come back in, not because you're going deaf, don't worry. It's actually because when you're so focused, all the other stimulus just fade away. You're totally absorbed, somewhat. Even if you're not in first jhana, you may experience this already. And then, it's something different. And your mind becomes 专注不散. Some of us may experience this just for a few seconds. Some of us maybe for a few minutes. Some of us maybe when you meditate very regularly, you quickly go into this state and just stay in this state for a long time. Maybe for the whole sitting, maybe for half an hour, maybe for 45 minutes. But even if it's just 3 seconds, if your mind can become like that, then you have that much of concentration. 依这定力, through this force of concentration, of power of concentration, 便有觉者自生. So a kind of wisdom would arise when you have reached this stage. What kind of wisdom? The ability to discern. 觉者. Discerning wisdom. Discerning wisdom would arise. What is discerning wisdom? Wisdom that can observe and then to have insight, to see that okay, this is impermanent. If it's just plain concentration, you cannot get enlightened. It's just blankly. Now we're talking about how if you were to do what you have been doing as described above, then a kind of wisdom can arise. What kind of wisdom? Discerning wisdom. The kind of wisdom that can distinguish, if you will. That can discriminate, if you will. But discrimination is a dirty word, but actually it's a neutral word. In our normal day-to-day speech, again, it's an English word. And in Singapore, when we say discriminate, it is a dirty word. But actually, it is a neutral. It's just the ability to compare and make a decision. So this is 觉者, to be able to make that decision. You observe something clear enough, it is impermanent. Observe something clear enough, it is transient. To be able to make that call. Okay? 所以说自意义为也, and that's why we say that the function of concentration is for wisdom to rely on this. It serves as the dependent for wisdom to arise. 心专注的意义并非前心后心只能源于一境. This part is interesting. When we say that the mind is concentration or focus, it doesn't mean that this moment and the next moment it must just stay on one object. This is very interesting. 并非前心后心, 前心后心 means the previous moment of the mind and then the subsequent moment of the mind. 前心后心只能源于一境, that it must only stay on one object. That it is not like that. 并非, it is not like that. 只要心, then what is it? 只要心能保持专注在所缘的境界，即使境界并非固定一种，也可以称为定。This is very interesting. So it means that even if the object is dynamic, or is changing and fleeting, as long as you are able to stay on it, is considered concentration. This is very crucial in Buddhist meditation. Why? Because if you cannot do that, then how do you discern anicca? How do you observe impermanence? The fact that by definition, when something is impermanent, it must change. It must change. So of course, the previous moment and next moment, it must be a different thing. It must be a different thing. So this is something that is very, very interesting. 否则在见到位时, this part is a bit cheap, even for me. I think a lot of you all, when you all read this part, quickly go online. Maybe some of you very hardworking students go and search online, search 300 books, 400 Dharma talks. Then very tempted to email me, 师父, this Venerable say this, that Venerable say that. Some text say, okay, let me explain first. 在见到位时, at the point when you see the path. What is this? See the path? The stage where you see the path. This is the point where you attain enlightenment. Okay? 无漏, so the 无漏 is untainted. Untainted, undefiled. This is a metaphor. 无漏16心，历观诸地. So this part here, if I were to bring the whole context to explain to you, it is a few lessons. This 16心, it is referring to 16 mental moments. Those of you who have attended Abhidhamma classes will know what this is about. If you never attend, you don't know. And to explain to you will be a few lessons. It is basically that it is described that prior to attaining enlightenment, there is 16 moments. Now, from here, the first time we hear it, we're like, wow, 16 moments, and you just accept that it's 16 moments. Later on, some teachers, for advanced, maybe a bit more advanced, they may pose the question, what is this moment? Is it discrete mental states? Yeah, is it precisely 16? Why? Because some texts say 15. Wow, jialat. Missing one. How? So in this context here, we are not concerned about the 15 or 16, okay? Yeah. Many years back, about 10 over years back when I was newly ordained, attending and then attending the class. Then I experienced this firsthand. Yeah. Attending the class halfway, then not halfway. At the Q&A part, then one of the Venerables come up and said, 和尚慈悲，师父慈悲，想要请示师父then start to ask 16刹那 or 15刹那 yeah, whether it's 15 or 16 mental states, then start to quote, or from this 大毗婆沙论 this other commentary, this Venerable say this, that master say that. At that point in time, 恭喜你 yeah, later after many years then, okay, this is talking about that. So this, sometimes we talk about the 4 fruits, right? Sotapanna, Sakadagami and so on. And sometimes we talk about the 4 pairs, the 8 individuals. Never heard of that? That means first fruit, but there's a stage before the first fruit. 玉果相, yeah, 出果相. Never heard of? Okay, so the 4 fruits. First, second, third, fourth, right? Arahant is the 4th. Sutta, Kana, or Sottapati, then Sakadagami, then Anagami. Have you all learned this before? Some yes, some. This is the string enterer. So usually we talk about the 4 fruits. Between the 4 fruits, there is this I'm going to just say pre-stage, pre-first fruit. Yeah? Or inclining towards first fruit. You all go and check your notes. Most likely it's inside. Yeah? Then after the first fruit, the moment you pass, so up to the number 16, then there is the 解脱戒定慧解脱之见, that you have been liberated to this point. Then the next moment is the knowledge that you have been liberated to this point. Now, the knowledge always comes after the liberation. The immediate moment after that, you are aware, I am liberated. All that, there's liberation. Once you pass, by definition, once you pass that moment where you have that knowledge that there is liberation, then there are those texts that says, then you are on to the next stage already. Okay? Now, then in the Abhidhamma it says that the pre-stage is referring to these 16 moments. Okay? Yeah, so in most texts they say that these 16 moments, once you step into the first of the 16 moments, there's no turning back already. You are bound, because it's 16 consecutive moments until the next stage. Yeah. So once you hit the first of the 16th stage, then you're considered to be untainted already. Because in the 16 moments, there's no more of the whatever taplam things that we are. Yeah. But because the 4 stages, they overcome different kind of defilements. Yeah. So with respect to the different factors and defilements, then that much is relinquished. Okay? Understand? So here it's talking about how when you're at this stage, 在见到位时，无漏16心，历观诸地. During these 16 stages, you are very intently observing, the various truth, the 4 noble truth, and you're observing suffering is indeed suffering, cause is indeed cause. the removal of suffering is indeed the true removal of suffering, then the path is indeed the path. Yeah. So in this way, they are all different as well. Okay. So 前后的境缘差别，就应当没有等时定了。Yeah. So if that was not possible, what we mentioned was not possible, then in this stage, then there shouldn't be concentration. But we say that during this stage, prior to enlightenment, there's some form of concentration. In which case then, as long as you are able to stay focused, yeah, and concentrated, that means your mind don't run all over the place. Yeah. When you direct your mind to the second noble truth, cause of suffering, it stays there. It doesn't say suffering, cause of suffering, then lor mi la, what happened, all over the place. It stays there. Okay. Maybe you think about lor mi, but you think about the suffering of lor mi. Okay. But if you start thinking about lor mi nice, got vinegar, vinegar, very nice, but sometimes too much, then sorry, of course you will not get enlightened. Okay. Yeah. So this second half of the whole text here is basically clarifying the basis and the scope of what concentration is. That concentration doesn't entail that moment to moment it must be exactly the same object that you focus on. Now, I want to just add one last point, that in this text, it uses the word think. Yeah. In the various other earlier translations, there's a term called 等持. According to my teacher, you can expand this to 平等认识. The 认 I think is this 认. Is it this 认? I think it's this 认. 平等认识. Yeah, so basically that from moment to moment you can maintain the quality of your mind. Yeah, to stay in that state from moment to moment to moment. If you can do this, then that is basically concentration. Yeah. And that's basically concentration. But next week we'll go through this a bit more, then we go on to wisdom. Because concentration, there's some other things to talk about. Okay, put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，不愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。诸位至诚，礼佛行三问讯语，一问讯，再问讯，三问讯。Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And as always, bye bye. Happy Vesak. See you all next week.